The world ended, not with a nuclear blast or an alien invasion, but with a hunger, a bloodlust that transforms humans into something monstrous. Our story begins with the protagonist, weakened and disoriented, walking to a deserted neighborhood. He tries to talk and he whispers, "Ah, my throat. It's so dry." His voice cracks under the weight of thirst. No, something primal stirs within him. His eyes scan the desolate horizon, desperate to find food. He sees it, a pool of blood in the distance. His primal instinct kicks in, and he wants to drink it. He moves slowly, and each step is a struggle. He looks into the crimson pool, his reflection staring back at him from the pool of blood. He sees himself, dead, yet he's still alive. And then, reality crashes in. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching my very first video. It means a lot. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos just like this one. Your support helps me a ton. The protagonist's name is Yusuke Takemura, a 25-year-old former salaryman jolted awake from a truly disturbing dream, sweat beading on his forehead. He's shaken, his eyes wide with fear. "What the fuck?" he mutters, his voice trembling. The room is dimly lit, the shadows adding to the unsettling mood. He clutches his head, his body still shaking from the nightmare. "That was a weird dream," he whispers, trying to shake off the lingering terror. "That's right, first time I set foot outside in a while, and that weird old man attacked me. No warning, no reason. Then I collapsed, with a fever." Yusuke out loud, "Ha, it's been 3 days. The company has gone bust, and I've got no motivation to look for work. I wish I could play video games forever." Lying in his bed, Yusuke is glued to his phone, scrolling through news articles about a zombie outbreak. What's this? Zombie outbreak, contagion continues, dead walking, endless, he reads aloud, his voice laced with a mix of concern and resignation. He contemplates the possibility of being infected, wondering if the strange man was the source. I wonder if they caught that deviant. Yusuke, still recovering from his fever, looks out from his balcony and witnesses a horrifying scene unfolding in the streets below. The once peaceful neighborhood is now in chaos. A car lies, wrecked. Blood stains the street, and people are walking, but not quite right. Their movements, jerky, unnatural. The dead are truly walking. Yusuke's expression shifts from shock to utter terror. He gasps, his eyes wide with disbelief and fear. The sight is too much for Yusuke to bear. Overwhelmed by the horror, he collapses to the floor, his body trembling. "Seriously?" he mutters. Yusuke, still shaken by the horrors he's witnessed, tries to find answers. He's knocking on doors in his apartment building, hoping to find someone. "Are they out too?" he asks, still no response. "It's locked," he mutters, his frustration growing. "I thought I'd try and find some more information, but everything's locked up. I just need to find one person." He finally finds one door that opens, revealing an apartment number 503 labeled Kurose. Yusuke enters apartment 503, cautiously calling out, "Excuse me, is anyone here?" Yusuke noticed the pair of women's shoes neatly arranged by the door. "Ah, isn't this where that office lady lives?" Suddenly, a young woman with purple hair appears, her expression unreadable. Yusuke is surprised, his eyes widening in recognition. "Kurose-san," Yusuke nervously said. I'm sorry, you weren't answering, so I..." Without a word, Kurose-san walks forward and begins scratching the wooden door. Repetitive, Yusuke thinks that Kurose-san is ignoring him. Still no response, just that endless scraping, like an instinct she can't escape. And Kurose-san is still not talking. Yusuke mutters, "Don't tell me." Yusuke is shocked by Kurose-san's condition. He checks her pulse and finds something deeply disturbing. "So cold," he gasps, his voice filled with alarm. Yusuke left with a terrifying realization. Kurose-san is unresponsive, her body cold to the touch. Overcome by a mix of fear, he decides to leave the apartment. "All right, I'll head back," he mutters, his voice heavy with despair. Yusuke opens the door and then without warning he appeared. Confronted by another horrifying sight, a zombie stumbles into view with its decaying face. "Ah!" Yusuke cries out in terror, his face reflecting sheer panic. Yusuke collapses to the floor in a hallway. He gasps, his breath ragged, his body trembling. Yusuke's heart pounds. Fear crushed his chest. His mind screamed to run, but his body wouldn't listen. But instead of lunging, the creature walked away. No aggression. Back at his apartment, Yusuke, still shaken but trying to regain his composure, checks online for updates on the situation. The internet was flooded with rumors, reports of attacks, monsters, zombies. Every source said the same thing. They attack people. Yusuke notices something strange. Then why aren't they attacking me? He questions, his curiosity piqued. Despite his fear, Yusuke starts to formulate a plan. Does that mean that all of Japan's been overrun? He wonders, his voice laced with a mix of fear and determination. He realizes that basic services might still be available. There's still electricity and gas, he observes, noting a glimmer of hope. First, I need to get my bearings, he decides, his voice firm. Yusuke ventures outside. He immediately encounters a chaotic scene. Zombies are attacking a door, and he loudly asks, are you okay?" Receiving no response. "Just zombies, huh?" he mutters. Amidst the chaos, Yusuke hears a sound. He's startled, his eyes widening in surprise. "A voice!" he exclaims. "Is someone there? Are you there?" A woman cries out from behind a door, her voice filled with fear and desperation. Yusuke's reaction is immediate, his face expressing both concern and determination. "A living person! Are you all right?" he exclaims, rushing to her aid. "Yes, I'm here," she replies, her voice trembling. "They're blocking the door. I'm trapped in here. Please help," she pleads desperately. Yusuke quickly assesses the situation. Is there anything I can use?" His eyes scan the area for a weapon or tool. "Okay, just a minute," he says, his voice firm and determined. Yusuke spots a fire extinguisher, not a weapon, but a chance. He throws the fire extinguisher to get the aggro to himself, but they ignore him. They are not attacking, he observes, noticing something unusual. Yusuke devised the plan. "I'm moving them away," he shouts, his voice filled with determination. The woman is visibly relieved, clinging to the door. "Hang in there," Yusuke encourages her. "They might be zombies, but that's still..." This is bad, he realizes, his voice laced with concern. "It says on the internet, you have to destroy the head to stop them moving," he remembers. Yusuke uses his knowledge of the zombies' weakness to his advantage. He cleverly maneuvers the zombies to a fatal drop, causing them to fall and impact the ground hard enough to crush their heads. With the zombies eliminated, Yusuke returned to the front of the door. "They're gone," he announced. "It's all right now." The woman opens the door, her daughter peeking behind. Yusuke is thanked profusely by the woman for his help. "I'm sorry. Thank you so much. We've been stuck for so long, I didn't know what I'd do," the woman says, her voice filled with relief and gratitude. Her daughter looks on, equally relieved. The woman inquires about the safety of the surroundings. Are the surroundings safe now?" she asks, her voice still laced with caution. Yusuke reassures her. "I know it was pretty bad for a while, but I'm pretty sure it's all right now," he says, explaining that the zombies are no longer attacking, suggesting it's safe to move. The woman and her daughter explain their intentions. "I see, Michan. We're going to the evacuation point to see Daddy," the woman says, and explaining they will head to the local elementary school, which is serving as an evacuation point. She asks Yusuke if he would like to join them. Despite the woman's offer, Yusuke replied, No, I'm fine," though his inner thoughts revealed a different sentiment. "I prefer not to get involved, to be honest." Observing nearby zombies, Yusuke commented, "You can go right past them. They're not attacking, just standing there." "You'll see once we go," he says. While he outwardly expressed confidence, a lingering concern remained about the aggressive zombies they'd encountered at the door. As they exited the building, a sudden sound of crunching was heard. Their relief was instantly replaced by horror. A gruesome scene unfolded before them. A large group of zombies savagely devouring a woman. Spotting Yusuke, the woman and her daughter, the zombies abruptly shifted their focus, sprinting towards them with terrifying speed. Panic gripped Yusuke. "I thought zombies were slow," he realized, his voice filled with dismal and urgency. "Hurry!" he yelled, shoving them back towards the building. "Run! Run! Run!" he urged, as they desperately tried to outrun the relentless horde. But Yusuke tripped, resigned to his fate. Yet the zombies ignored him, focusing their attack on the mother and daughter. There was no last-second rescue, only the sickening sound of tearing flesh and a scream cut short. He couldn't save her. She died screaming for help that never came. But it wasn't because the zombies ignored him. It was far more unsettling. It's not that the zombies don't attack people. It's that he is the only one they won't attack. Yusuke thought, what am I? And why, and am I still alive? Yusuke arrived at Kurosa-san's apartment. The questions swirling in his mind far outnumbered the answers he possessed. Yusuke softly said, "This has to be the cause." His gaze fell upon the faint marks on his arm, a reminder of a moment he barely remembered. Yusuke thought, the reason this woman didn't react to me either. I looked into this woman while I was looking into the zombies. Her name is Kurosa Tokiko, 23, a new office worker. It seems that she hasn't had any friends or family to check up on her. She was just another face in the crowd, until now. She was a pretty gloomy person, always kept to herself, never stood out. That's why I pretty much forgot all about her, but that day, I barely responded. I didn't even remember her name until I saw it on her door. Kurosa Tokiko. Something about her was different. Her body, it's cold, lifeless, like the others. She also does not have bite marks on her body how she was infected. Looking at her quite closely, she was pretty. The memory of the gruesome scene he had witnessed earlier flooded back. What the hell am I doing? I didn't owe them anything. They weren't my friends, weren't even people I knew. So why does it still hurt like this? I scream at the air, at the walls, at the silence, but none of it answers me, just like no one answered them when they cried for help. Yusuke is overwhelmed by his feelings of guilt and failure, lashes out his anger using Kurosa-san's body until morning comes, finding a strange, unsettling comfort in her presence. I couldn't stay in that room forever, not with my head like this, so I left. Maybe for air, maybe for answers. Yusuke arrives at what should have been a safe evacuation point, but finds it devastated. There are bloodstains on the ground, abandoned belongings are scattered, and a crowd of zombies is everywhere. He mutters, "So this is the evacuation point? Looks like it's done for." While looking for survivors inside the school, his eyes widen as he spots the banner flapping outside. Protagonist thinking, "What's that?" Survivors? Yusuke decided to go to the building with a hanging SOS sign. There are only zombies in here. First floor, second floor, no sign of life. He navigates quietly, steps light as he passes through the abandoned store. Protagonist thinking, the third floor? That sign had to come from there, but the main doors are shut tight. "I'll try out the back," he muttered. He finds an elevator tucked away in the back corner. The protagonist whispers, "Bingo, an elevator. Now I can get to the third floor." Reaching the third floor, the elevator is blocked by a barricade. Someone had tried to make a stand here, but not that would stop them. Yusuke encounters a young child, seemingly unharmed and alone. The protagonist shouts, "Hey!" The boy glances back, eyes wide but not with fear. He sprints around the corner. The protagonist runs after him. Yusuke said, "Hey kid, you okay? Are you alone?" The boy woke the other survivors. The protagonist raises his hand slightly and says, Hi, sorry to bother you, I'm not dangerous." Yusuke thinks that she looks exhausted, starving maybe, and scared out of her mind. The protagonist, softly smiling and said, "Are you hungry?" Looking at the kids eating the food he offered, like they hadn't eaten in days, maybe longer. Our protagonist gently asks, "How long has it been since you ate?" The girl softly answered, "I've been asleep for so long, I don't know." The girl gently wipes the youngest boy's cheek, her smile calm. The girl softly said, "You're so messy." The protagonist watches her silently. The girl looks up, surprised. a faint blush rising in her cheeks, and said, "Thank you for the food." Ryusuke asks if they are the ones who put the SOS sign. The girl lowers her gaze, her hand clenched tightly against her skirt. The girl softly said, "Not me, but..." She pauses, voice shaking slightly. "There were 8 of us at first. We tried to ration everything, but the food ran out, and one by one they left to scout. None of them came back." The room returns to silence. The children look down. The older sister speaks with a gentle resolve. The girl said, "I have my brothers, so..." The protagonist crosses his arms, nodding, trying to keep his voice calm. Protagonist replied, "I see. Must have been tough." Yusuke smiles, raising a hand casually. Yusuke said, "Guess I forgot to introduce myself, huh? I'm Takemura Yusuke." Mitsuki stands up and bows slightly, hands politely folded. The girl introduced herself. "I'm Fujino Mitsuki. These are my little brothers. This is Masaru and Takashi." Yusuke thought, keeping her manners even now. They must have been raised well. Even those two, still so polite despite everything they've been through. Mitsuki curiously asked, "Are you part of a rescue team, Takemura-san?" Yusuke, chuckling, replied, "Nope, just a passerby." Mitsuki replied, "I see. Has it become safer outside?" Yusuke reluctantly said, "The zombies are still outside. Not for you, I don't think." Mitsuki hopefully asks, "You can't take us with you?" Yusuke replied, "Nope. It's dangerous to move in groups." Mitsuki asked with a pleading voice, "Please, could you just take my brothers somewhere safe?" Yusuke firmly replied, "There isn't anywhere safe. The zombies are everywhere." Mitsuki lowered her gaze and said, I see." The boys glance at each other, silently watching their sister's desperation. Yusuke looks down, brows furrowed, conflict brewing in his chest. She seems like a smart girl, but she shows signs of being a shut-in, trying to escape from reality. Well-mannered but too docile. The 3 of them might be driven into a corner sooner or later. Yusuke, scratching his head, unsure but trying to help. I'll bring some more food back. There's plenty there, so it should last for a while. And if I see any rescue teams, I'll point them this way. Will that do?" Mitsuki, bowing her head, voice trembling. "I'm sorry for being so selfish. Thank you so much." Yusuke, smiling, trying to reassure her. "I'm sure help will come. Hang in there. It's fine, it's fine." Yusuke, thinking, expression darkening slightly. "Yeah, I doubt it." Yusuke is imagining Kurose-san as Mitsuki. It would be easier if she were a zombie, but she's not. "All right, I have something to do. Outside the supermarket, to secure it as a lifeline, I need to clear out all the rotting items. Bread, milk, and dairy, all gone bad. I'll leave them for now. Root vegetables, still salvageable. I'll take what I can." He lifts a shirt to his face to cover his nose from the stench. The meat and fish are a goner. Yusuke's thinking. The refrigerated meats were a harvest too. But what to do with it all? I wish zombies ate this kind of stuff. Hell, if they did, I could just toss it at them like bait. He imagines a ridiculous plan, with mock excitement. "I know. I'll toss it in with some living people. If they're hungry enough, they'll eat it. No way. I'll toss it. Up in the mountains. I could toss it at a local dump site, but the smell would still be a problem. And I might need the area later." He scratches his head, muttering aloud. Yusuke muttered, "Guess I'll find a truck or something." He turns around, catching a glimpse of zombies. It's just past 8 a.m. Usually this is time for the morning rush. Are they waiting for the bus? Can't be. Most of the zombies I've seen so far have been mindless wanderers. Maybe they're just acting out the lives they had before they died. Yusuke walks away, looking up at the sky. "It's not urgent. I'll look into it later. Not like I have anything else to do." After that, I found an unlocked minivan and a truck started nearby. There was too much crap to fit in the minivan though, so I went to a local work site and found a dump truck. He grins approvingly at the red truck. "Yusuke? Oh, nice." I spent the next day and several following days cleaning out the place. Driving the red dump truck to the mountain road, he notices something up ahead. Yusuke said, What's that place?" "Outdoor Activity Center. We had one of those. This might be a good place to move to when the electricity and gas run out. I'd prefer the town, but water sources are an issue. He wipes sweat from his brow, catching his breath after dumping the food waste. Whew, that was some good exercise. That solves the rotting food problem. Looking up with a thoughtful expression, finger raised as he thinks aloud. All right, I need to pick up something to eat. I can use the food storage at the apartment. Door opens. Yusuke returns, looking slightly worn out but smiling as he enters. Sorry it took so long. He steps inside, dropping his bag. Masaru, thank you for the food. Blushes. The curry was really good. Beside him, Mitsuki gives a soft look, her lips parting slightly. She looks down. Noticing her sad look, Yusuke cheerfully said, I brought some gifts for you too. And look at Mitsuki, she follows Yusuke to another room. Mitsuki nervously said, I'm really grateful for what you've done. I can bear it, but my brothers, if you can. Yusuke knows what she wants to say. She wants me to bring her proper, healthier foods. Yusuke stands still, lost in heavy thought. The air around him feels colder, darker. He was now conflicted. I only came to them in the first place because I wanted information. I fed them to get that. But continuing won't get me anything. Pause, the weight of his logic hits him. It was from my goodwill that I helped them. Will I keep doing the same for every survivor I find? Will I be a food mule for them? His gaze narrows. I don't want to do this anymore. Yusuke looks back, scratching his head, not in annoyance, but as if trying to brush off a storm of thoughts. Yusuke mutters, I'll think about it. Mitsuki suddenly speaks up, breaking the silence, her voice cracking with guilt and desperation. Mitsuki, panicking, said, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. You've been a great help to us. Her voice trembles, her hands clench. She doesn't want to be a burden. She's terrified of being abandoned again. Quiet hallway, tense atmosphere. Yusuke turns to leave. Yusuke calmly said, It's fine. It's tough. Going hungry. He tries to distance himself emotionally. The weight of constant responsibility is wearing him down. Oh, you can use the fabric there too. Mitsuki's eyes widen. She feels the conversation slipping away. Panic builds. Yusuke continuing. I hope you get help before winter comes. Mitsuki, trembling, fights through her pride and fear. She speaks up. Mitsuki, pleading and tearful, said, Takemura-san, please, save us. Her voice cracks. Her hand grabs Yusuke's sleeve. Yusuke freezes. Her words hit deeper than expected. Yusuke thinking, does she understand that she's letting a stranger gamble with her life? I bet no man would say no to that expression. He looks away, struggling internally between logic and emotion. Yusuke's voice drops, carrying the weight of grim experience. Yusuke asks with a serious face, have you ever seen a person attacked by zombies? Mitsuki quietly said, yes, I'm sorry. Yusuke replied, in this new world, you risk your life just finding something to eat. Pause. Mitsuki flinches, her guilt growing. Yusuke said bluntly, if you want help, then I'll provide it. Her eyes light up, hopeful. In exchange, let me have you. The words hang heavy in the air. His tone isn't flirtatious, it's transactional. Mitsuki was shocked to hear that. Her breath catches. Is this what kindness costs now? Mitsuki, furious, trembling. What do you think we are? All men are the same. Her eyes burn with betrayal. Shame and anger well up. She thought he was different. He saved them. But now he feels like every threat she feared in this post-apocalyptic world. Mitsuki, clenching her fists. I'll look after this place when you're not here. It sounds like a peace offering, but it's more of a grim compromise. Yusuke, still cold, unwavering. I don't need you to. Where do you think I sleep? If I wanted to, I could just chuck all of you out to be attacked. He's not gloating. He's stating facts. In this world, kindness is a resource, and he holds the power. Yusuke replied to her plea. Are you just assuming people will give you what you need? Do you think thank you is enough? Yusuke, his words are piercing. Mitsuki's voice is barely audible now. Yusuke states his final offer. If you want help, it's going to cost you. She's on the verge of giving in. In replied, I will use my hands. They both go inside the bathroom. 1 week passed after their first transaction. Yusuke looted the police station. He took any weapon he could find, and there were no survivors had been encountered so far. Yusuke is planning his next action inside his apartment. Should I scout out the town for easier travel? No need, I guess. This town's pretty big. Guess tomorrow I go to the supermarket. Yusuke thinks if only they were good for something, maybe we could make a rooftop garden. So until then, she just had to pay using herself. The door opens suddenly. Yusuke. I just need to grab a few things before heading out. Yusuke enters, foot unknowingly nudging something small on the floor. Takashi turns, flustered, cheeks red, while Yusuke freezes mid-step. Yusuke. Oops, didn't see it there. Carry on. Yusuke looks at him, raising an eyebrow. The boy's face turns red in embarrassment. He clutches his belly and looks away shyly. Yusuke. Takashi, right? There's plenty of food? Takashi responds, yeah, but it's important, so we have to ration it. Yusuke. Did your sister say that? Well, rationing is a good idea. Yusuke is happy to hear it and thinks that he doesn't need to teach them as much as I thought. They're already ahead. Takashi sees Mitsuki enter. Takashi. Oni-chan. Mitsuki asks Takashi, where's Makun? Takashi. Over there. Yusuke raises an eyebrow, looking slightly concerned. Just then, Mitsuki reaches out and gently grabs Takashi's hand. Mitsuki. Then let's go. She leads the child toward the hallway, her expression unreadable, though holding something back. Yusuke watches them disappear around the corner. He leans back on a couch, arms behind his head, eyes on the ceiling, lost in thought. The calm before another routine outing. I guess I'll head out, Yusuke grumbling as he stands. Yusuke, muttering. Crap, I forgot my bag. Pain in the ass, I have to head back. He freezes in place. Something catches his eye. Yusuke became alarmed. What? Mitsuki steps out, her face tense, determined. Behind her, 2 children peek out cautiously, backpacks slung over their shoulders. She takes a firm step forward, and the younger boy follows closely, his eyes wide with uncertainty. Another child stays behind her, clearly unsure, yet trusting. She heard the shout of Yusuke. Hey, where are you going? Yusuke's voice echoes through the corridor, but Mitsuki doesn't stop. Instead, she grabs the children's hands and pulls them forward. Yusuke shouting, it's dangerous! He rushes after them, heart racing, disbelief in his voice. They're heading for the exit. Yusuke shouted again. What are you doing? Mitsuki yelling. We are going home! Flashback through the day it began. A quiet morning light filters into the cozy house. Mitsuki hums softly as she gently dries her younger brother's hair, still wrapped in the warmth of the family routine. The television murmurs in the background, just part of another uneventful day. There has been a large outbreak of violence in the capital area. Mitsuki was confused by what she heard. Her hand pauses mid-motion. Her father looks up from the table, eyebrows raised in concern. Violence? On the news? The TV flashes breaking news. An alert and an aerial view of a city engulfed in chaos. The words seem surreal, unreal. That's just down the road. Locals are advised to remain indoors. This is now a designated emergency. What's violence? Mitsuki gently explained. Like a big fight, I guess. The tone shifts, the air grows heavier. A government alert begins to blare through speakers outside. You are being called to evacuate. Everyone living in this area, you are being called to evacuate. The usual calm of the neighborhood had vanished, replaced by the distant sound of sirens and scattered murmurs of uncertainty. Mitsuki asked with a concerned face, Are we going by car? Wouldn't it be faster to walk? Father, smiling awkwardly, replied, I thought it would be better to hurry. She glanced at the headlights, cutting through the evening mist. The plan didn't feel right, but there wasn't time to debate it. Behind her, siblings clung tightly to her coat. Suddenly, someone yells her name. Mitsuki! A familiar voice made her pause. Her childhood friend, Akira, appeared from the street. Mitsuki recognizes him. Akun? His face was tense, more serious than she had ever seen it. Behind him stood another man, likely his father. Akun continuing, "Yeah, Dad says, just in case." Akun, with a soft smile, said, "See you later." Mitsuki, nodding faintly, replied, "Yeah." As they made their way toward the main road, the soft glow of streetlights revealed a chilling sight, a traffic jam. Mitsuki, frustrated, "Nobody moving at all." Father, sighing, "Looks like we have no choice but to walk." The family slowly made their way along the roadside, the air heavy with exhaust. They passed a white SUV with its hazard lights still blinking in the dark. A familiar shape caught their attention. Mitsuki, uneasy, "That's Takasaki-san's car. Doesn't look like Akun's in it, though." Father, thoughtful, "Considering the tailback, maybe they abandoned it." The headlights of another car pierced the shadows. Then came the scream. Everyone froze when they saw a car accident. A hand, limp and pale, reaching out from under the vehicle. Blood pooled across the road. Father said with shock, "Eep! They hit someone. Come on, we have to help." They rushed forward. But what greeted them was not a victim crying for help. It was something far worse. "He is terrified." What? A zombie lunged from the shadows, bloodied. Mitsuki froze for a heartbeat too long. The infected woman snarled, sprinting straight for them. Their father blocks the zombie and screams, "Run!" Mitsuki grabbed her brother's hand, her instincts overtaking her terror, leaving their father behind them. Even if her legs are tired and her heart is bumping wildly due to exhaustion, she runs with all she has. Mitsuki opens her eyes slowly, sweat on her brow. Mitsuki whispers, "Where?" Her brothers were asleep, curled up beside her. Mitsuki stares ahead blankly, the trauma still fresh. Mitsuki thoughts, that's right. We found shelter at a nearby supermarket. A few other families had the same idea. It wasn't much, but the locked doors gave us something that felt like safety." Mitsuki wonders if Dad's all right. "I hadn't seen him since the chaos began. He told us to run." A man yells while zombies shake the shutter gate. Mitsuki flinches. Guard shouting, "Please calm down. If you want to come in, then you have to say so." Mitsuki pleading, "Please, don't let the people banging on the shutters." Guard quietly, "They weren't normal. It's been like this all night." "Oh, are the boys awake? There's food available." Mitsuki softly replied, "Thank you." "Well, stay here until everything blows over." Guard calmly responds, "Yes, it won't take long. The police will sort things out." 3 days passed, but the police never came. Mitsuki thoughts, a disease that causes people to attack when they're infected. Is there really such a thing? The news was on constantly, but every channel showed the same thing. Violence, chaos, despair. The guard softly announced, "I've hung a sheet with SOS on it from the window, so don't worry. I'm going out to find help." Then he quietly steps away. Mitsuki, worried, said, "Isn't it dangerous outside?" Guard replied, "I can't contact my family. I'm worried about them." The old guard who smiled so kindly. After that night, he never came back. Mitsuki stares out the window, eyes heavy with sorrow. The food began to run out, the TV turned to static, my phone battery died, and I didn't even have a charger. Mitsuki's heartbeat quickens. "Who?" she whispered with a terrified face. Mitsuki's eyes widen in panic as a shadowy figure leaves. "Mitsuki, what's with that guy? He's scary." The next day, Mitsuki softly asked with a confused face, "Where are the others?" The weird guy replied, "This morning, through the elevator, they left." Mitsuki's trembling hands clutched at her chest as her heart races. Mitsuki, thoughts racing. That is, did they abandon us? Did they leave without us? Did they think we'd only slow them down? And then the worst question hit me. If everyone left to escape, why did he stay? The room now feels emptier, colder. It was the dead of night. When he came to our door again, strange man creepily whispered through the door, "I found some food. I'll share it with you." Mitsuki replied, "What do you want?" His voice, there was something wrong with it, like he wasn't offering help but baiting us. Mitsuki freezing in place as the door rattles repeatedly. Mitsuki snaps and yells, "We'll get it in the morning." In the middle of the night? What kind of person does that? The rattling didn't stop. It only got louder, like he was testing the lock, testing us. And in that moment, I realized the danger wasn't just outside anymore. It was already here. Mitsuki's voice trembling. I'm sorry, that's all I could say. To my little brother, and to myself. Mitsuki holding the children tightly until the creepy man vanishing down the hallway. By morning, he was gone too. Now, we were the only ones left. And then, Takemura-san showed up with a cold offer. He says it's dangerous, but somehow he always brings back food. How? If it's so dangerous, how does he come and go so easily? Mitsuki, desperate. Is it really dangerous outside? Why do I have to do this? What am I doing here? He comes and goes so easily. I'm sure that our parents are waiting for us at home. It's going to be all right. Takemura, alarmed. Where are you going? Mitsuki, determined, yelling. Home. She thought that. It's all right. It's going to be all right. She runs, clutching the boys' hands tightly, their eyes filled with fear but trust. She leads them through the first floor, only to be met by the horrifying sight of infected people inside. Chaos erupts the moment they step outside the door. The infected surge forward. Takemura lunges forward, striking an approaching zombie. Mitsuki, shocked to see the guard is now infected, and running forward to them. Takemura yelling, "What are you doing? Get the kids back inside!" Boy, panicked. Pull Mitsuki back to the elevator. Mitsuki stumbles back with the children as Takemura tries to hold off the undead. Takemura, frustrated, yelling, "Stop flailing shit!" Mitsuki, desperate, "Makun!" Visual, the elevator beeps as the kids scramble in. Mitsuki glancing back in horror. Takemura roaring, "Go! Fucking close the door! Go!" Mitsuki pants heavily, clutching the two children close. They made it out alive, but at what cost? Mitsuki was sobbing and whispering, "We can't go home." Mitsuki thought, He died. They're all dead." Mitsuki's tears streak down her face as grief swallows her. "I killed him." She collapses, knees hitting the ground. The children cling to her. The hallway echoes with their cries. Mitsuki screaming, "No, no, no." After the elevator door closed, zombies crashed our protagonist down to the floor. The relentless horde pounded their fists against the metal doors. He clutches his shoulder, his breath ragged, still seated on the floor. Takemura thinking, what the hell were they trying to do? Takemura turns around and looks at zombies banging the door. Tcha. Either way, I need to do something with these guys. He ties a rope around a zombie's waist and attaches it to a motorcycle. He drags the zombie bodies to the outside. Takemura, aloud to himself, all the entrances are locked. Zombies now block key access points, mindlessly patrolling. This way, the zombies should attack anyone trying to get in, before they even make it through. Mitsuki heard a gently voice calls out to her. Yusuke softly. Hey. Mitsuki looks up slowly, her lip quivering, eyes wide and full of emotion. Mitsuki stammering. How? Yusuke dryly. Seriously, what the hell? Yusuke cutting off her question. Don't you how me? Do you have any Yusuke notices the children's wide eyes and stops himself. Yusuke turns to the kids with a softer tone. I brought extra this time, so go crazy. You've not eaten yet, right? Yusuke glances at Mitsuki, who now stands silently, eyes lowered and cheeks flushed. Said at the kids, I need to have an important talk with your sister. Yusuke, firmly. Say something. You all could have died. Mitsuki clenched her fists, her voice trembling as she struggled to explain. Mitsuki replied, so we could go home, to our parents. Yusuke's brow furrows as she continues. Mitsuki quietly, I thought it was safe. But Yusuke wasn't done. His voice pressed in, demanding clarity, not excuses. Did you try seeing if you could get through on the phone? Did you consider going ahead yourself and checking things out first? Mitsuki's composure cracks. Her voice rises, desperate. Mitsuki shouting, but there's no such thing as zombies. The truth had shattered her worldview, a truth she still couldn't fully accept. Yusuke reaches out, gripping her wrist. Yusuke, gently but firmly, come with me. Yusuke didn't say another word. He simply led Mitsuki up to the rooftop to show her the truth for herself. The rooftop door clicks open, the two steps into the golden light of sunset. Yusuke quietly said, Look. Mitsuki gasps. Her eyes widen as she takes in the view. Below them, quiet streets, a distant zombies wandering aimlessly, cars stained with blood. The city, once vibrant and full of life, now sat silent under the warm glow. The beauty of the sky clashed cruelly. She is stunned in silence. Yusuke said with a serious face, "And those lights? They don't mean there are survivors inside." Her illusion of safety shattered by one simple truth. The world had already changed. Mitsuki asked, "Do you think my parents are all right?" Her eyes search Yusuke's face for comfort. He looks away. Yusuke flatly replied, "Dunno, if they're lucky. But you three are the only survivors I've found." The words hit her like a weight. Behind her brave face, her world cracked a little more. Mitsuki turns away, gripping the rail tightly. Mitsuki quietly whisper, "They are all gone." And yet Yusuke, calm, collected, unreadable, stood next to her as if none of it fazed him. Mitsuki, snapping, "How are you so calm? The town's been massacred. Aren't you scared? And just now, I thought you were dead?" Mitsuki's tearful, frustrated face. Yusuke thinks fast. He scratches his head nervously. "Shit, I didn't think up an excuse." Yusuke replied, "Because of this. I took it off a dead police officer, used it to take care of the zombies." Mitsuki's eyes widen. Yusuke lowers the weapon, voice calm but firm. "Yusuke, they react to emotions, you see. That fear you feel, that's what draws them in. So if you keep calm, cut yourself off from your emotions, you'll be safe." Mitsuki, voice trembling, asked the question gnawing at her heart. "Why didn't you use that to threaten me into doing what you wanted?" Yusuke coldly replied, "Don't get a big head. I might find your body attractive, but I was just pissed off that you expected me to feed you for nothing." His words were sharp, meant to push her away, but his eyes, they betrayed him. There was more than anger behind them. Mitsuki's breath caught. Her heart, already fragile, cracked a little more. Mitsuki softly replied, I see." But before she could spiral deeper, Yusuke turned, breaking the heaviness with his usual practicality. "I'm going to put you to work right up until the rescue teams arrive. You owe me, big time." Mitsuki gripped the railing tightly, her fingers trembling, her thoughts a storm behind tear-lined eyes. Yusuke, now facing away, exhaled silently, a tired sigh against the warm wind. Mitsuki, hesitating, say, "Can we stay here a little longer?" He paused. "Why?" She looked down, her voice barely a whisper. "I'd prefer it if we wait until my brothers go to sleep." She couldn't meet his gaze, not yet, not with her heart still unsteady. Mitsuki softly replied, "The security room has a lockable door." Yusuke turned back, eyes gentler this time. "All right." Yusuke sat alone in the security room, the blue light brushing against his face as he flipped through an old logbook, something left behind by order and routine long gone. Yusuke planning, "I'll use this as a hideout for now." The room was quiet, safe, for the moment, but winter was approaching and survival meant thinking ahead. "If I have to, I'll move them to the center. That place might hold through the cold." His thoughts drifted to her, Mitsuki. No longer the emotional storm he feared she might turn on him in the night. With her new attitude, "I shouldn't need to worry about her stabbing me while I sleep." Just as he thinks about her, a soft knock interrupted the quiet. Mitsuki, nervously, behind the door. It's me." Her voice trembled. Mitsuki, softly, "I'm heading to the room." Yusuke answered plainly, "I'll be right there." She didn't look back. Behind her calm tone was a storm of uncertainty. She sat, her posture tense, eyes low, breath shallow. When Yusuke arrives, he raised her head just enough to meet his eyes. Mitsuki, quietly, I have a request." "I don't want to get pregnant." She couldn't mask the tremble in her voice. Her thoughts were a blur, fear, guilt, resolve, tangled into silence. Yusuke approached, reading her unease with calm detachment, and nodded faintly. "Yusuke, have you done this before? Ever had a boyfriend?" Mitsuki shook her head. Yusuke sat beside her, a brief silence stretching between them like the space between two cliffs. Yusuke flatly says, "We've no condoms either. I won't come inside you today, okay?" Her replies was barely audible. This wasn't about love. It was about survival. Mitsuki nodded faintly. Her breath caught in her throat. Yusuke. Okay, lie down. The cold light of the morning came. Mitsuki quietly opens the door of meeting room, her voice soft but tentative. Mitsuki, I can get some breakfast together for you? Yusuke replied. Sure, I'll eat. She nodded and disappeared momentarily, returning with the same dull rations they'd grown used to. Yusuke, thinking, ready-made food is really boring. I want some rice. Guess I should get some cooking gear. Mitsuki began to cough. The sound startled Yusuke, who observed her closely. Yusuke, cold? Don't give it to me. Mitsuki, hushed. It's just leftover from our activities yesterday. Another cough escaped her lips, more persistent this time. Her hand trembled as she covered her mouth, the cough tightening her chest. Yusuke noticing, don't give it to me. After the group gathered and ate together, Yusuke took command with blunt efficiency. Yusuke, firmly. I'm just going to make this short. His eyes swept across Mitsuki and the two younger boys. They listened, not out of respect but survival. I saved your lives, so you guys are going to listen to me for a while, got it? Boys, nodding, yes. Yusuke, thinking, if they can gather their own food, then I lose my hold over them. If they have a long-term food source, Mitsuki might turn against me again. Power was a delicate thread, and right now Yusuke held it through hunger. Yusuke, thinking, I can only release my grip once they need me for more than food. He continued herding the zombies like cattle, planning his next steps. Now I need to close up the emergency exit shutters and sort out the escalators. A lie began to form in his head, not for safety, but manipulation. Yusuke, maybe I could say there were only a few on the second floor. Guess I should finish up. I want to go to the electronics shop and the library too. Yusuke casually. Found a rice cooker. I really want rice. I put some bags in the hallway. Mitsuki, drawn by the clatter and her own curiosity, peeked in with caution and surprise. Mitsuki softly says, Takemura-san? She wasn't the only one stunned. Even her brothers noticed the shift. Yusuke coolly, I cleared the second floor. You can grab some from there. Mitsuki, coughing, but it'll be tricky without some utensils to eat with. With a spark in her eyes, Mitsuki followed Yusuke through the now-safe floor. The shelves were full, the possibilities endless. Mitsuki looked delighted. Wow, look at it all. Yusuke thinking. Once, she trembled at every sound. Now she stood beside him. Never once asked how he'd made all this possible. Twitching like a mouse, but now she's not even asking how I managed it. In her excitement, she'd forgotten the danger. And that's exactly how Yusuke wanted it. With piles of blankets and pillows at their disposal, Mitsuki brought up a simple, yet revealing question. Mitsuki is curious to bring a topic. There's lots of blankets and pillows here too. Where are you sleeping, Takemura-san? Yusuke calmly replied, I sleep in the changing room. You guys can keep using your room. It's furthest from the entrance. But Mitsuki wasn't only asking out of curiosity. Mitsuki tentatively asked, You don't mind me sharing with the boys? Yusuke paused. Her words hung in the air, blurring lines between responsibility and something more. Yusuke softly say, Huh? Well? With the second floor cleared and supplies secured, a new challenge surfaced. Living arrangements. Mitsuki, genuinely curious. There's lots of blankets and pillows here too. Where are you sleeping, Takemura-san? Yusuke, casually. I sleep in the changing room. You guys can keep using your room. It's furthest from the entrance. Her eyes flickered with hesitation. Not fear, but concern, maybe. Or something else. Mitsuki, softly. You don't mind me sharing with the boys? Yusuke pauses, a little surprised. Huh? Well? You can just come to my room to do that. Mitsuki held the pillow tighter and said, I won't fight you on it. Just keep it from my brothers. Yusuke, I know. I'm not going to show kids that. Mitsuki says with cheerfully, they have curtains too. We could use them to separate the rooms out. Yusuke teasing, You don't have to take it so seriously. Mitsuki lightly replied, Really? We're living in an office, so I thought I could make it feel a little more homely. Yusuke trying to change the topic. It's not like we can stay here forever, he firmly explained. Eventually, the water and power will run out. When that happens, we'll need to move. As long as we have water, we're good anywhere. Mitsuki, concerned. Power? But move where? Yusuke continued his explanation. The mountains. I found an outdoor activity center we can use. It's outside the city, so there should be fewer zombies too. It was a logical choice. Safe, secluded, and with resources they'd eventually need. Because their current sanctuary wouldn't last forever. Her hesitation didn't go unnoticed. But Yusuke wasn't one for comfort or reassurance. Yusu bluntly. If you're useful, I'll feed you. That's good enough, right? You don't think about anything useful, so just focus on following my orders. It wasn't kindness, it was control. But Mitsuki saw something else. Mitsuki softly. I just think it's strange how you're able to plan for the future so calmly like this. All I could focus on was how soon help would be coming. For once, Mitsuki stepped up. Not with complaints or questions, but with results. She had found the key. Mitsuki calmly, offering the key. I found the key for the underground entrance shutters. I also found others with tags on, so I put them in the drawer in the office. Yusuke blinked, surprised. He hadn't expected much, but in that moment, Mitsuki proved her worth. Yusuke smiling. Huh. I wasn't actually expecting you to find them. Good job. Her cheeks flushed, not from pride, but perhaps from finally being seen. A brief moment of calm, of progress. But a couple of hours pass. Mitsuki collapsed suddenly, her breathing shallow. Her bothers concerned. Hey, what's wrong? Mitsuki weakly. Sorry, my head hurts. Panic flickered across Yusuke's face. Mitsuki's condition worsened rapidly. Her body burned with fever, breath shallow, vision fogged. A cold or something far more dangerous. Her brothers worried. Will she be all right? Yusuke trying to calm her brother. It's just a cold. Let her sleep. But even Yusuke couldn't quiet the growing fear clawing at his thoughts. Wait, it could also be, I was bitten, I have no symptoms, but I could be a carrier. She could be turning because The realization hit him like a brick wall. He hadn't just failed to protect her, he may have doomed her himself. Yusuke quietly, filled with guilt. I messed up. Yusuke moved quietly, washing, preparing, caring. It was all he could do now, for her. Mitsuki, wake up. The world around her spun, but one thing lingered on her lips. Where are the boys? She sees the water and food. From the doorway, she finds her siblings. The boys were safe, tucked under clean blankets, their small breaths steady, in a room away from her. They're sleeping here, so they don't catch it. She noticed books on the floor. These books, he must have brought them for them. Her heart eased, just a little. Even while I was unconscious, he kept everything running. Cooking, protecting, preparing. He did so much for us. Mitsuki goes to the meeting room while carrying the soup, and she finds Yusuke sleeping in the chair. Mitsuki, inner thought. This man had to face the end of the world alone. While I had my brothers to keep me moving forward, he faced it all by himself. The silence, the fear, the loneliness. Maybe he saved us, not just out of duty, but because he's lonely. Then she accidentally sneezed. Yusuke suddenly woke up hearing her. He turned to her quietly, his voice low. You? Mitsuki says, good morning. Yusuke, gently, oh, so it was just a cold. He looks down, hiding the small smile tugging at his lips, relieved to know it's just a fever. Sincerely, I'm sorry for worrying you. He replied, I wasn't whatever. How do you feel? Mitsuki, softly, almost embarrassed, still strange, but better. Yusuke, firm but kind, replied, put a mask on, don't sneeze on the food. Mitsuki is happy to hear it, she says. Got it. It's cold, but the weather is beautiful. The breeze feels clean, almost peaceful. Mitsuki is doing laundry, the wind brushing her hair back, as she grips her coat and wanders where Yusuke has been. But Yusuke said he'd be back in 3 days. But now, it's the 4th, he's still not here. Her eyes drift down, expression darkening slightly. Did something happen to him? Mitsuki, calm but tinged with unease, reassured herself. No, Takemura-san can take care of himself. I just, I just have to do my job. The three siblings have three duties. Mine is to keep this home together. The first, smoking. A simple yet ancient method, using smoke to flavor food and to preserve it for longer storage. Even a cardboard box will do, so long as you're careful about the open flame. A stainless steel smoker might be ideal, but when the world ends, you make do with what you have. The second, hydroponics. We're trying to grow food, to be self-sufficient before we eventually head for the mountains. We are one step at a time, preparing for a future that still feels so uncertain. But we keep moving forward. Because survival, it is something we have to earn. It's been a while since I've seen them smile like that. They look truly happy. She smiles softly, almost tearful. I almost forgot what that looked like. I've been so lost in my own fear that I didn't see what it was doing to them. They were affected by my despair. Without realizing it, I was hurting them. I failed them, as their big sister. She clenches her fist, eyes bright with new resolve. But not anymore. It's hard not to fall back into the darkness, but I'm doing my best to smile again. The boys laugh beside her. Mitsuki pulls them close. Mitsuki, smiling. I'll do my best. It's late, and he's still not back. Yusuke said he'd return in 3 days. But today marks the 4th. She walks through a store, purposeful yet weighed down. She told herself I'd go out and get what we need. Her steps echo in the quiet, the shelves around her full of memories. But how nostalgic. Back then, things were simpler. Even if the world hadn't changed yet, I had already lost so much. Suddenly, a familiar presence, she turns, startled. Takemura-san. He's there, worn, but safe. Yusuke. Sorry I'm late. Her voice trembles, relief flooding in. Welcome back. Were you all right? He nods, calm as ever. Yusuke. Yeah, it was fine. I got what I needed. Mitsuki stands silently for a moment, the light catching in her eyes. Yusuke finds that fewer zombies roaming outside. His voice breaks the silence, unsure. They haven't disappeared. They're just hiding, inside buildings most likely. If more vanish, even you three might be able to move around without too much trouble. Well, we'll stay as long as we have power. There's no rush. His gaze softens slightly. How are things here? Mitsuki steps forward, holding a notebook filled with notes. Mitsuki replied, we finished everything you asked from us. We even made notes for growing our food. Yusuke glances at her with mild surprise. Are you smart? Mitsuki, maybe. I was usually in the top 5, in the whole school. He blinks, pausing. I never made it into the top half. A beat of silence passes between them. Mitsuki, sorry. Yusuke replied, why are you apologizing? He smirks faintly, holding the paper with renewed perspective. Since you're so smart, I can leave the tough thinking stuff to you. Yusuke, looking at her, asked, what's with the outfit? She panics, bowing slightly, embarrassed. Mitsuki, I'm sorry. Since we finished everything, I thought, maybe. Yusuke replied, no, it's not bad at all. Her heart skipped. He stepped closer. He puts his hand on her waist, with a teasing smirk on his face. Yusuke, let's do it. With you in this. The atmosphere shifted again. Not survival, not routine, just the unspoken closeness that was beginning to grow between them. That night, we found comfort in each other. In the silence, in the closeness, we didn't need words, just warmth and trust. Mitsuki holding him close. It wasn't about desire. It was about not feeling alone anymore. A few weeks passed. We've gathered a lot and are almost ready. He checks over the supplies, locking the truck doors. I already took the tools and fuel. Preparations are nearly complete. Yusuke cleared the first floor. He cautiously opens a door, a trail of blood leading inside. But something's off. The stench, not like the undead. Suddenly, Mitsuki calls out, Takemura-san, can you hear me? We've received a message, a woman asking for help. Yusuke hesitates but retreats back. A chilling voice crackled through the speaker. Help, someone, help me. Yusuke's eyes narrow. Mitsuki's breath catches. Until now, the radio had only given them static. But this time, there was something. No, someone. Yusuke acts fast, Strategic. Yusuke commands Mitsuki to answer back, but don't tell her where we are, just get her location. Mitsuki hesitates, caught off guard. She'll feel safer hearing another woman. Hands shaking slightly, Mitsuki takes the mic. Mitsuki, dialogue. Hello? A woman's panicked voice blared through the speaker. Help me! Where are you? Mitsuki grabs the mic, trying to stay calm despite the chaos. Mitsuki replied, Please, calm down. We can't both talk at once. Where are you right now? But the woman on the other end wasn't listening. Frantic cries echo again. The unknown woman on the radio speaks louder. No, no, no. Where are you? I want to go where you are. Tell me. Yusuke frowns. Mitsuki's hands tremble. Yusuke, ask if she's with anyone, if she's holed up somewhere. Mitsuki, please keep calm and listen. Are you holed up somewhere? Is anyone with you? The voice grows more unstable, more erratic. Unknown woman replied, I don't know. Help me. Where should I go? The girl's panicked voice lingered in the air, but Yusuke's instincts were sharper than fear. He turns away from the mic, calmly analyzing. I could hear footsteps in the background. Something was off. It wasn't just her. Someone else was likely controlling the radio. Mitsuki, hesitant. But her speech. She didn't sound like she was lying. Yusuke firmly replied, She's a decoy. Might be threatened, sure, but we gain nothing by saving her. Mitsuki's heart wavered, torn between empathy and the harsh weight of survival. Yusuke coldly says, If you tell her where we are, I won't be responsible for what happens. Brief silence, tension thick in the room. Mitsuki, Takemura-san? Yusuke, brushing it off. He walks off into the cold hallway. Yusuke, low, without turning back. Don't get any weird ideas? Mitsuki is left alone, troubled by the weight of the choice before them. Just as doubt filled the room, darkness fell across the city. The power, gone. Something was wrong. The heating's out. I'm going to check. Takemura and Mitsuki stand on the rooftop, surveying the skyline. Mitsuki, pointing, Takemura-san, over there. A massive fire glows in the distance. Yusuke, alarmed, a fire? It's huge. Mitsuki, get ready to leave. The flames painted the night sky with dread. Was it an accident, a trap, or worse, a signal? Mitsuki, worried, what about you? Yusuke, resolute, I'm going to check. He turns, barking out his next order. Wake the boys up. If it's dangerous, we're out of here immediately. Yusuke rides his bike and halts in front of roaring flames. Yusuke, gritting his teeth. Shit! This was the shortest path to the mountains? He had no time for detours. Every second counted. I hope it won't complicate things. Yusuke saw a figure in the distance. Just when Yusuke was weighing his next move, a thunderous crash broke the tension. A white SUV slams into the gate. Yusuke, startled from the smoke and fire. A figure emerged. Not a survivor, something else. Yusuke's expression freezes, eyes wide in shock. What the hell? The suited figure stands tall, unfazed by flames. A new threat had arrived. And it wasn't a normal zombie. A girl trapped in the SUV screams as masked men descend. Unidentified girl, screaming. Kya-ha! She cried for help. But help never came. Glass shatters, the blade flashes. The zombie with a half-decayed face, revealing the bone beneath, beheaded the girl. There was no hesitation, no demand, only execution. Yusuke start the engine, but even from a distance, he knew. This wasn't a survivor. This wasn't a man. It wore a police uniform. The zombie's eye flickers like it's processing, calculating. It didn't attack him, but it didn't have to. Yusuke knew that skull-faced thing wasn't just wandering, it was hunting humans. The zombie fading into the distance. He knew if he didn't move fast, the next targets could be the ones he swore to protect. It's no ordinary zombie. I've got my gun. If I follow quietly, I might find an opening. Yusuke hears sounds, follows bloody trails, breath held. Damn it, I lost it. I'm too deep in already. What? Is that sound? Drawn by the strange noise, Yusuke follows the blood-soaked. The crackling sound intensified. It's coming from in here? The door creaks open, flames reflect in his widening eyes. Flames reflect in his widening eyes. Yusuke, shocked.
What is this?
Yusuke gasps, stepping back. The monster moved with inhuman calm, dragging another victim to his doom. The man clawing at the floor, the blade gleaming, flames reflecting in his eyes. He, crying, "No, I don't want to die." The man falls into the fire. Yusuke stops, staring, and starts running.
Damn, I lost. But maybe...
He barged into a room, eyes wide with urgency. The air was thick with unease. What should have been just a broadcast room was soaked in blood. Yusuke thinking,
Too much here is weird. Something must have happened.
his eyes caught a mounted video camera.
A video camera?
Yusuke presses play. The footage rolls.
If there's any chance to figure this out, it's on this tape.
The video shows a man shouting at a terrified boy standing on a narrow platform above a pit. The man in the recording shouts,
Get on with it! Come on! Hurry up and jump!
The group watching laughs. One boy slips, falls hard.
Spectator. Oh, he fell off!
Onlooker mocking.
Good luck! Yeah, no. The zombies are coming!
The footage freezes on the boy being eaten alive by zombies, screaming, while others look on coldly. It was like a game, a cruel game. His eyes widen, fists clenched. Yusuke thinking.
They didn't just abandon him. They forced it to happen.
The truth hidden in the tape continues to unravel. Not just a record of cruelty. A familiar face appears on the screen, bloody and bruised. Yusuke alarmed. The policeman, that's the zombie. He stares at the camera in disbelief. Yusuke thinking, this is bad. At first, the zombies staggered like beasts, mindless, instinct-driven, lost in bloodlust. But the more humans they devoured, the more their movements changed. Yusuke, voice low, shaken the more they eat, the more intelligent they become. Yusuke throws the camera in fury, his face twisted in a mix of horror and rage. Yusuke shouting, fuck, 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 son of a bitch. Those stupid pieces of shit, they just increased the enemy forces. Yusuke thinking, there were at least 10 zombies in that hall. What if they all get their intelligence back? Yusuke steps back into the corridor, breathing heavy. Yusuke thinking, this place is too dangerous. I'll head back. Yusuke with grim face. We'll need to take a detour out to the mountains. Yusuke knew if they didn't move soon, there wouldn't be a safe place left to run. In that moment, Yusuke saw something he wasn't ready for. Not just a zombie, but a predator that have intelligent. Yusuke, thinking, those eyes, they're not empty. They're watching me. His gaze drops. She's holding a severed head, blood dripping from the spear in her other hand. Yusuke whispers, what? The hallway behind her is stained with blood, a trail leading to a heap of corpses. Yusuke, thinking, a pile of human corpses? Did she do all this? The girl turns slowly, deliberately. Not aimlessly wandering like the others, she moved with purpose. She wasn't just killing, she was cleaning. Yusuke stumbles back toward the window, wide-eyed, breathing shallow. Yusuke thinking, this isn't just another undead. She's intelligent. She's organizing the bodies. Why? He returned to the supermarket quickly, looking around to see if the smart zombies followed him. Yusuke, aloud. Ah, shit! We need to get out of here before those zombies get loose. He heads toward a red delivery truck, but he pauses, sniffing the air. Yusuke thinking, what's that smell? His eyes narrow as he covers his mouth with his sleeve. Trash? No, it smells more like piss. It's coming from the trash area. Did I leave it open? Suddenly, his eyes widen in alarm. Yusuke aloud. The smell wasn't just decay. Yusuke thinking, water bottles? Someone was alive in here. A human was hiding amongst the trash. Tension rises. He pants, realizing what it means. It did not cross his mind to confirm if some survivors were hiding in the building. Yusuke shouting on the radio, Mitsuki, can you hear me? Hey, I think there's a survivor headed your way. Don't provoke them, I'm on my way. Early morning light filtered faintly through dusty windows. A wall clock showed just after 6 a.m. The kids stirred, rubbing their eyes groggily. The girl quietly began packing. Mitsuki adjusted her bag, sliding in a sealed packet. Mitsuki thought, "It's like we're going on a trip. I'm worried about leaving, but as long as we have Takemura-san, we'll be okay." The group gathered by the elevator. The doors flickered, a warning of unstable power. A boy whispered, "Huh? Takemura-san?" The elevator doors creaked open. The children and Mitsuki stared at the figure emerging. From the darkness, a tall man emerged. His filthy hoodie clung to his gaunt frame. His blackened fingernails curled around the elevator frame. His eyes shadowed under greasy hair. Mitsuki nervously asked, Are you a fellow survivor?" The man said nothing. His hand tightened. He was holding a hammer. Mitsuki trembled. We have food if you need." The man's lips twitched. His expression was unreadable. The tension shattered as Mitsuki and the kids sprinted away. Mitsuki shouted, "Takun, Makun, get inside." The stranger reached for them, but it wasn't food he wanted, something far worse. The children stumbled into the office as Mitsuki slammed the door behind them. Mitsuki panicked. "That's him, the guy from the supermarket. How is he still alive? Why is he here?" She pressed against the door, trembling. "He can't be reasoned with. I can't protect them like this. I need to barricade the door." Her legs shook. Fear was overwhelming. What do I do? What do I do? Tension spiked as the intruder stepped forward. Cornered, but not broken. It was no longer fear that gripped her. It was resolve. Mitsuki shouted, voice firm, "Don't come any closer." Her arms shook, but her eyes burned with defiance. "That's right. Don't falter now. The kids are behind you. You have to protect them." The man paused, his expression unreadable behind his hair and grime. Mitsuki negotiated. "You can have all the supplies you want, this whole building. We're not a threat. We'll leave." He was listening. But what was he thinking? "Please, just take the offer and let us go." He reached toward his jacket, coughing. His eyes still shadowed. Mitsuki shouted, "Don't! Step inside." The stranger smirked. "Those two are the only others here, huh?" Mitsuki's eyes widened in horror as she realized his intent. He grabbed a pencil holder when Mitsuki wasn't looking and threw it at her, a distraction to close the distance. The man charged, a monstrous expression on his face, hammer raised. Mitsuki slid across the cold floor, clutching a bloodied knife. The man gritted his teeth. His shoulder was wounded. She threw a desperate glance at the two boys, fear in her voice, but fire in her eyes. Mitsuki shouted, "Close the door, don't come out. He'll go for the weakest first. She knows it, and she refuses to let that happen." A faint, broken voice filtered through the radio. A voice on the radio. "Hear me? Coming." Mitsuki's eyes widened. It was Takemura. Her heart leaped. He was back. With terrifying speed, the man struck her down. A vicious kick sent her crashing to the floor. The world spun. She was pinned. The deranged man loomed over her, his bloody arm trembling as he raised the weapon. Her vision swam. Mitsuki whispered, barely audible, "No, please." In the shadows, the man's twisted face stretched into a sick smile. Her brother helped by pushing the man. The hammer swung at them. The fight stopped with a sudden gunshot. Smoke trailed from the barrel. Mitsuki lay still. The man didn't move. A gunshot followed by a kick. The man glared, wounded and defeated. His strength was gone. Yusuke didn't flinch. Yusuke commanded, "Put that around your leg," and the other, "To the desk." Masaru's head was bleeding. Takashi's leg was twisted and bleeding. He was clutching his belly. Yusuke clutched his head, helplessness weighing him down. Damn it, if only there were a hospital or even a doctor. While Yusuke thought, Mitsuki tried to revive Masaru, but then her attention locked on the attacker, still alive. Mitsuki furious. "You." She lifted the gun. Her hands shook, breathless but resolute. Takashi shocked. "What are you doing? That's dangerous." The danger had passed, but the rage hadn't. Mitsuki, trembling, aimed her gun at the man who'd nearly killed Masaru. The attacker pleaded, I'm sorry, don't hurt me." Mitsuki, shaking and furious, "Don't hurt you? How dare you say that? After what you did to Masaru?" The man collapsed to his knees, face bloodied, hands raised. He pleaded, I didn't mean to kill him. I've been trapped so long, I've gone strange. Mitsuki shouted. I don't care, I don't care. Her hands trembled, the gun clutched tightly. His begging only fueled the ache in her chest. Mitsuki, tears in her eyes. How can you beg for your life? Takashi gently placed a hand over hers, slowly lowering the gun. Mitsuki softly whispered, the boys, they thought of you as a hero, Takemura-san. After you saved us, they were always saying how they wanted to be like you. That's why they rushed out when they thought I was in trouble. Mitsuki, her face full of tears, turned toward Takemura. Mitsuki wept, why didn't you protect them? Takemura replied sadly, I'm sorry. She clutched her head, overwhelmed. Mitsuki panicked. My head's all messed up. Did I say something horrible? I'm sorry, this is all my fault? Takashi gently changed the topic. Can you check on Takashi's wounds? He knew it was my fault. I had a spare gun. I could have left it here for them. Why didn't I give it to them? Because I didn't trust Mitsuki enough. His thoughts echoed. There was no time for regret now. Blaring sirens echoed outside. Yusuke was startled. This sound? The disaster prevention siren? Loudspeakers boomed from City Hall. We currently have 100 survivors and will be evacuating them by helicopter in 3 days. Survivors, please make your way to City Hall. Do not give up. Yusuke urgently commanded Mitsuki to look after Takashi while he got Masaru. The creepy man, half smiling, begged them not to go to City Hall. Mitsuki was startled by Yusuke's action. Takemura-san, what are you? Mitsuki clutched the injured Takashi protectively as they watched the man approach the glass. Takemura calmly commanded the man to check for zombies before they went. He scanned the horizon, tension thick in the silence. Well, any zombies? The man answered. No. Yusuke pointed his gun at him, his expression twisting in rage. Takemura yelled, Did you think I wasn't fucking pissed? He shot multiple times. The window shattered. The man fell dead. Zombies swarmed over him like starving wolves. He became the bait. Yusuke, firmly eyes locked on the horizon, will take the underground exit while the zombies are busy with him. Mitsuki nodded, holding the injured Takashi, her expression somber but steady. Mitsuki softly, okay. Yusuke turned to the others, urgency in his voice. Let's go. A red truck sped through empty city streets, the sky clear. Winter had come, and with it, a strange shift. The zombies, once relentless, now sought shelter. Yusuke squinted as they approached a towering building. Yusuke softly, That's the city hall. A brief silence passed. Mitsuki glanced down at Takashi, who slept wrapped in blankets. The city hall stood like a fortress, surrounded by water, an unpassable barrier for the undead. It was the perfect stronghold. A guard happily said, You're just in time. Rescue teams will be here in 3 days. Yusuke thought, nothing feels strange, but also nothing feels normal. They're not disorganized, but they don't seem connected either. Another guard, with a firm expression, Sorry, but we don't allow weapons within the hall. Please hand them over. Yusuke reluctantly gave up his weapon. He asked if there was a doctor present. The guard glanced at the child and reacted quickly. Guard called out, Makiura-sensei, we have a patient for you. Makiura, calm and composed, responded from behind the door. Yes? Just a moment. She finished writing and turned to the door with a warm, professional tone. Please, come in. The doctor examined Takashi. He was hit with a hammer? I see. The boy weakly reached for Mitsuki's hand. She squeezed it reassuringly. Mitsuki asked the question every guardian fears. Will he be all right? The doctor reassured her. He doesn't have any worrying symptoms for now. We'll give him painkillers and let him rest. Mitsuki replied, Yes, thank you. The doctor smiled gently. Let me know immediately if anything changes. Yusuke listened intently to the guard. There was a sense of order here, maybe too much. The rules were clear, the process smooth, and that alone made him uneasy. As they walked through the halls that passed smiling survivors, other survivors chatted, relaxed, as if the world outside hadn't collapsed. They looked okay. Their room was on the second floor, west side, a place to sleep at last, but not a place to let their guard down. Yusuke glanced down a hallway, noticing a different group of survivors. Not everyone looked at ease. Some had just arrived, faces hollowed by fear. Yusuke thought, These must be more recently arrived survivors. The atmosphere here is completely different. Mitsuki watched over the boy, her expression soft. Yusuke stepped forward, his voice solemn. We have another child's body in the truck. The guard gasped. A shelter worker asked, was he bitten? Yusuke firmly replied, no, but is it all right if I dig a grave for him? He solemnly explained, no, he was killed by a human. The man lowered his head, shocked. Mitsuki still looked toward her sleeping brother. Yusuke approached, observing them silently. The boy slept peacefully for once. You sleep. I'll watch over him. You're tired too. Mitsuki hesitated, then nodded. She lay down, resting her head on Yusuke's lap. She finally allowed herself to rest. Not because the danger had passed, but because she trusted him. Mitsuki slept soundly against him. He adjusted the blanket around her. 3 days until rescue, 3 days of waiting, but what comes after that? Yusuke considered his next move. Time passed from sunrise to night. The door creaked open. Mitsuki returned after using the restroom. Yusuke woke to the noise. He blinked, slowly turning his head. Mitsuki apologized for waking him. She gently said, sleep some more, I'll wake you up. Yusuke softly replied, I'm awake now. I'll get up in a bit. Their bodies were exhausted, but something deeper had begun to heal. Something only quiet moments like this could mend. Mitsuki gently tightened her grip around Yusuke. She murmured, thank you for everything. Yusuke paused, eyes softening as he looked down at her. She rested against him, her voice low but sincere. He responded with a faint smile. Yusuke. In a world that had fallen apart, those small, unspoken moments meant everything. Everyone began to stir. Yusuke opened his eyes. Time to get up. Suddenly, a voice called out, full of relief. Akun, I saw your name on the entry book. I've been so worried. Mitsuki's eyes widened in disbelief. Mitsuki softly said, Akun. Akun smiled. I'm glad you're all right. Akun turned to Yusuke, bowing slightly. Thank you for all the help you've given, Mitsuki. Yusuke kept his expression neutral. Go on. He closed his eyes, sighing inwardly. This is going to be a pain. Mitsuki hesitated, then followed Akun out. A few hours later, Akun and Yusuke confronted each other. Yusuke sat calmly. Akun stood stiffly before him. Akun, I'll be looking after her from now on. Yusuke asked, You're welcome. Where is she now? Akun, I'm very thankful for everything you've done for her, but I'm here for her now. Yusuke smirked. I see. The words were polite, but the air between them sparked with tension, like two sheathed swords drawn in silence. Akun defensively asked, Do you have a problem? Yusuke, without blinking. Not particularly. Are you her boyfriend then? Akun hesitated. Akun, it seems you don't get it. Yusuke glanced toward the injured child. He's hurt. Will you have enough to feed them? It wasn't just a question, it was a challenge, a reality check. Survival had no patience for pride. Akun tightened his jaw, frustration growing. Akun ended the conversation by asking, I cared a great deal about him. Why isn't Masaru here? Yusuke stood and left. He shoveled, digging, tired arms, heavy breaths. Mitsuki blaming me, I can take that. But he's got no right to say a damn thing. Yusuke muttered, You ran out of luck too, huh? After digging Masaru's grave, he walked quietly under the morning light. He couldn't just leave Mitsuki, he needed someone to watch over her. He didn't trust Akun. Suddenly a fit of coughing erupted. Tokiko turned away, cigarette in hand, her face flushed and contorted in pain. His expression sharpened with concern. Tokiko waved a hand, brushing off the moment. She slid the pack toward him in a half-offer, but her hand lingered, hesitant. Yusuke said, No thanks. Tokiko apologized. Yusuke replied, It's okay. The wind rustled through the trees. No more words needed. Tokiko sighed, A lot of people around me smoke, so I thought I could handle it. I thought it'd be a change of pace, but it just tastes so bad. She stretched, her smile bittersweet. She glanced at him, her expression softening. Tokiko, was it your little brother? I saw you grave digging. Yusuke's gaze fell, shadowed by memory. Yusuke, no, not mine. Both stared into the woods ahead, silent. still processing. Tokiko. I see. I'll make sure to take care of it for you. Yusuke nodded. Thanks. Tokiko smiled faintly. I'd better head back. Sorry to disturb you. She walked off. Yusuke was left alone, his hands in his lap, eyes lingering on the path she took. Yusuke. That's it then. No more reasons to stay, he sighed. Well, guess that means I'm free now. Yusuke found Mitsuki to say his goodbyes. The sky was tinged with the colors of approaching dusk. I guess I'll go back to my apartment building.